What's up, everyone? Back, rebranded, first episode technically of Really Whitty. It's our reality TV show. Me and Allie will be doing every week. Bachelor is our main thing, but we will be discussing multiple different reality TV shows that take place because who doesn't love reality TV? Allie, how we doing tonight?
Doing great. We are doing fabulous. I mean, I just made some stuffed peppers, so can't complain.
No, can't go wrong with some stuffed peppers. But all right, women tell all. I was just telling you, I think it was a little more dramatic than was shown.
Yeah.
But I think they got a lot of backlash. I think The Bachelor, just with the internet nowadays, is catching a lot of backlash for the bullying and everything. They got a little into it because I think they had to on certain points. Like, I think if they never addressed the whole escort part, they were going to get shit on for that. So, I think there were certain things that they had to address, but I don't think they wanted to make it all about that because, they filmed probably a lot more than we saw. But one question I have is, why was Heather not shown?
I was wondering that too.
You saw her, she was there, the back of her head, and she was never shown.
I know. I kept seeing tweets about that too, and I'm kind of like, okay, why? I wonder if she cried or something like that, and it got bullying.
Yeah, and she didn't sign off or something. Then she's like, I don't want to be a part. Something that was so weird.
That was weird.
So I saw a tweet about it, and then I went back and watched, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, she's right there. I didn't know if someone photoshopped or anything, and I was like, no, yeah, she's definitely right there. So
yeah,
that was weird.
I didn't notice that either. And then today I was like, oh snap, she really was on it. I wonder if she's said anything about it. I kind of want to look on her social media.
It's kind of tough because I feel because they all sign these little contracts, so I don't know if how much they can or can't, and I know they obviously can't talk about it while the season's being shown, but I don't know if they're not allowed to talk, kind of they have to approve of what they can and can't talk about, but that would be interesting if she kind of gave her whole side because
or explain that she had been there for 3 weeks or whatever. And
yeah. Because you can't just you can't just show up. Chris Harrison and all of them have she did just show up, I know, but I'm saying she can't just show up. Someone on the production team or something was tipped off that she was there or told that she was there.
Right. And then they allowed her to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I don't know.
Right. But all right, let's get
to just anyone, but
for sure. But let's get into it. Where do you want to start? Do you have any specific place you want to start? I feel
we could start with Victoria.
Yeah, okay. I do have one thing before we get into this. I thought it was, or this is part of this, but I just had to get this off my mind right now because I thought I'm thinking of it right now. But so when they brought Brittany, I believe is the girl that Anna made the accusations about,
yes,
up to the stage, and she started talking, and that was sad to see, and she said it's a lot of people have been bringing it up, and that's sad and that sucks.
Yeah.
And Anna, which I get, they probably didn't show a lot of what her response was. She had a kind of a short response, and which I think that was you kind of felt like okay, I can feel how she's feeling because she was just in the wrong and she knew it. So she's like, nothing I'm gonna say here is gonna fix this. I kind of just should keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of times nowadays, no one ever does that. So kudos to her for doing that. But everyone was kind of questioning her, why would you do this? The fact that Victoria turned her over her shoulder and was like, so what gave you, why would you say this? It's Victoria, you were the ringleader next to her, spreading this, telling people this. Why are you the one questioning why she said
it? That honestly, watching that, so Victoria could have gotten ripped apart for so many things, just so many, but she really didn't. They showed her montage of her being just a total biatch, and then a couple of the girls were like, oh my god, whatever. But it seemed like she did not get any scrutiny, at least to what she deserved. And then Katie's out here literally massacred.
Well, the whole part where who was it? Was it the dancer girl? And she was just like, well, are you sure you're just not sensitive? I was like,
oh yeah, Ryan.
Yo, what?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you watched, like you said, you saw all of it, and it wasn't like there was only a few people who went at her, and it was a Ryan chick, it was Katie and Justine, what, however you say her
Oh,
name.
yeah, just funny or whatever her name
Yeah,
is. That's
like it was like only those three, the three that went at her, and then like Katie said something, and Katie got attacked, and it was like, yo, like you guys all just watched Victoria do all of this. Like, how are you gonna say
yeah.
anything?
Like literally the only highlights they had of Victoria were her being just an absolute bitch.
Yeah, and like, and then like I agreed with Katie so much where it was like, because so Victoria tried to like play that like, I don't know, sad puppy card when she was like, "Have you seen what everyone says about me online?" It's like, yo, you're the one who brought all this on you. Like, you
Right.
can't say something and be like, "Why is anyone mean to me?" Like,
Right. And she
uh,
acted like it was so unprecedented, and it's like, Victoria, like, what the you started this shitstorm.
right, right, and it was just like you said, like I don't know, maybe they cut it out or something, but like she should have got grilled
Yeah.
way more. Like a few other girls like bickered back and forth. Even Justina or however you say her name, and we butcher every fucking week that she's been on
I
the show.
know. You just
But
gotta call her like Jay or something
yeah,
like
yeah. So I apologize, Jay. But Jay and like MJ went at it more. Like there was way more people that went at it than anyone went at Victoria, other than Katie tried to, and then all of a sudden
they were
the
like, "Oh, Katie."
the model with the blonde hair, she was like, "How are you gonna group us all in? Like it wasn't toxic." And it's just like, what did you not just watch that? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
toxic. Like
Oh my, and then did you see how like Marnie was kind of jumping in and chiming in for MJ and was like, MJ is so nice. I was her roommate. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know you guys were friends.
Well, that's one of the things I did notice throughout the episode is like you kind of saw who were friends. So
Yeah.
like I think
Oh yeah.
Katie and Jay were better friends than we knew to
Yeah.
believe. And
Yep.
then like you just said, Mari and MJ were clearly pretty because like to you to just like MJ was probably in the wrong. She got caught in the wrong, and like Mari spoke up like, "Yo, how are you gonna say she's toxic? Like she's a nice
Yeah.
person. I'm a roommate." And so like I think that is one of the things you saw was like there were relationships built that we had no clue about.
Right. And that's like, I feel like in a lot of ways, this Women Tell All episode, like we really learned nothing.
Oh
But we
yeah.
did learn like who had each other's backs. And it seems pretty clear that like nobody's friends with Victoria. So I guess we can
Yeah,
walk
well,
away with
I thought the only person who was Anna, and then Victoria is like questioning Anna in a corner, and I'm like, how are you the one questioning anyone? But
yeah.
I thought those two were friends.
And then you see how Victoria, like she kept like that one part where she addressed Matt.
She was crying.
Yes, and I was like, you
Yeah.
literally told him you'll never find anyone else like me. Like what?
Yeah, but she also didn't like so Piper talked about how she was feeling emotional and she was like, I got the best it got the best of me. Like clearly I cared. Clearly, like I was here for him. Clearly I loved him, or else I wouldn't have been bawling my eyes out like that. So
Yeah,
or someone else like there's I think Katie and someone else also were like, yeah, when I was leaving, it was just a tough goodbye. So like I didn't get a formal goodbye. I want to give you a formal goodbye right now. But like
yeah,
Victoria, she didn't say anything like I didn't mean what I said. I was just upset. Like she said nothing like that, but then she was just like cry. It's like, yo, like what? Like I don't
I know.
understand.
Like she was expecting Matt to apologize, but she wasn't gonna apologize.
Exactly. And he definitely it was funny because like you could tell he's just like, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about you. And she's like, thank you for that. And then it just ended. And you could tell she was kind of like hoping, like, okay, let's like push the needle a little more. Like so
Yeah, he I didn't even like you from the beginning. They were pretty much having a gun to my head, making me keep you.
yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of how I felt too. Yeah, I will say like I was kind of shocked. So like listening to like Matt speak throughout the show, not on the show in interviews, a lot of times he brought up Kit, and like Kit didn't talk at all. Kit did it
I know.
shown. Like I thought that like there was a few times like they showed her when she was like lost in the woods, and like I was like, damn, she's kind of funny. Like she has this is a way different
No.
personality that they like she gave off that we were shown. Like, damn, she's pretty funny. Like, like I could see maybe why Matt was saying all these things, but
Right.
like she wasn't even nearly one of the people that they were like, oh yeah, like you guys definitely had a connection. Like she wasn't even brought up.
I feel like it was everyone that was like not very problematic
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that much airtime because they're like, no, we need this to be dramatic and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I noticed that too. I also didn't realize like they did so many like like touching the bugs thing or
Yo,
like
some of those dates were better than the ones that they showed.
I know. I it just makes me question like how much they cut out every show and season because I'm like
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, they did that whole I mean, all those blooper dates, like, think about how long those took, and, like, we didn't see a single thing of it.
I know. Which makes
So
me just question everything that The Bachelor does, but
well, it just makes you, I could see how Matt, like, when he's talking about it, like, I guess, like, you know how every week me and you were like, "How is this chick just bawling her eyes out?" Like, maybe
yeah.
behind the scenes, like, they did get very close, and we just didn't see any of it. Like, I could see that more now, and I do think that, like, to move on a little bit, like, I do think that, like, he was very into Serena.
I think so too, and maybe we just like didn't see their relationship as much, but I also was like, wait a minute. I don't know. It just didn't seem like she really liked him that much at
Well, I was
all
gonna
and he
say,
kept
no, I think it was, like, he was into her, like, I don't think she was that into him.
no. Like really never.
Yeah, like, he could tell, like, he was like, when he saw her, he was, like, pretty, like, just, like, kinda, like, I don't know, nervous a little bit, but, like, she was just, like, there, ready to talk, all good, like, she cried when she
Yeah.
watched over, which that is one thing I'm, like, I kept watching when so, like, they brought Katie up, who obviously had a emotional goodbye, they brought Abigail up, who obviously had an emotional goodbye. I'm kinda
Yeah.
glad they didn't show the part of her being like, "I'm the girl that makes every guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kinda glad they didn't show that because that would've been just, like, hysterical to watch, not hysterical,
That would have been.
setting to watch. But they brought Abigail, they brought Katie, they brought Piper. So like 3 girls that were like super duper upset when they got sent home.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is just like you have to rewatch it in front of all these girls, like
Yeah.
relive getting your heart broken. Like
That would be so and then plus like hindsight is 2020, so like you're out of it like without the emotional perspective that you had in the moment and you can kind of see like all the signs. Like maybe
mhm.
Katie saw that Matt kind of was like when she said, I hope like my love story is your love story. He was like
Yeah, right. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like and like they're watching that with all the rest of like the well, I mean the whole audience. Like that's probably the
Mhm.
first time I saw that footage. So like
Right.
that would be so hard. I would never want to do that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, like, that would be so hard, and then, like Piper said, which makes total sense, she was like, "I was so into him, and I thought we had a good relationship that, like, I kinda just always forgot he was dating 4 other women that, like."
Yeah. I heard that. That was like that was like probably one of the realest things I thought she said.
Yeah, no, I know, I agree, and it was like, yeah, no, that makes total sense because she was just kinda like, I thought we had a good connection, and, like, I kinda didn't put in the back of my head that, like, okay, do I see him, like, have a way better connection with anyone else? So, like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
that kinda was like, "Damn, okay, I get that, that's real."
Yeah. And maybe that I guess that would also kind of explain why they're always like so upset when he like sends them
Mhm.
home because I guess the whole time they're fighting for their time. So they're only paying attention to their time.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
they're
and
not really
then
like, wow, he loves so and so or, you know.
exactly, like, that's definitely like, she put that a little into perspective, it was like, "Okay, yeah, I could see that for sure."
I
The
did
other th
too when like Matt walked out, like Piper's face was like when she saw his beard, she was like
Yeah,
like she
yeah.
made a face and I'm like, yeah, they're probably all like, okay, maybe I'm glad I got sent home with that beard.
Yeah, right? No, it was like oh, this is what I was gonna say, speaking of that though, like, it was, like, crazy how, like so, like, I feel like I don't know, like, I'm just getting into the Bachelor game, but, like, Pete season, like, girls walked away hating Pete, right? Okay? Like, every girl came back and was, like, basically kinda like, "No, Matt, you were amazing. No, Matt, you were amazing." Like, it was, like, one of those
Yeah,
where it's just, like and, like, it's what I said well before, I was like, "Dude, Matt knows how to feel. He makes everyone
yeah,
feel like you're the one person in the world when he kisses you with his eyes open, it's just like,
yeah.
boom." And,
He
like
can't look away.
yeah, exactly, and it's like, boom, so all these girls are just, like, head over heels, like, "Oh, this he only looks at me like this," and then all these girls get fucking roped in, and then it's like, "Boom,
Right.
yeah, you're going home." So, th
And that's what Piper was even saying. She was like, "He made me feel like I was the only
mm,
girl here." And I was
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
"Oh, yeah,
Yeah, and it's like, well, clearly you weren't. Like,
right."
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then, so a lot of people were talking about how Abigail and Katie kinda made their, I don't know, ploy plot speech to be the next bachelorette,
Yeah.
and I like I bet Katie, or I think Abigail should. Like, Katie's
I,
cool, liked her, but I'm kind of over her. Like it,
yeah, I am too. She's kind of whiny. Like, I don't know. I'm
she got
over it.
she got placed as like the face of like sticking up to the bullies, but then it was like, like you weren't like that great.
Right. Like,
We're like,
she bought a vibrator. Like, okay. Like,
mhm.
wow, that's so monumental.
Right, right. And like Abigail, I just feel like it's so real and like she is
It's
like super
so
pure.
nice.
Yeah, super pure. And like it seemed like, I don't know, maybe we're not seeing any footage, but like she's maybe one of the only people on the show that like nobody had a problem with at all.
Right.
So
And like I was reading something that apparently she like totally increased like ratings just from like people who are also deaf.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
I
I was like,
believe that.
like, I think
Yeah.
Bachelor, they want to like rebuild their brand after all this that's been
Yes.
happening. So she could be a good
Yes.
way to do it.
I would have to agree with that. So I
Yeah.
think she is. Ryan won't like that. Our boy Ryan, who is obsessed with Katie since the start, he thought Katie should have won. But yeah, no, I agree. I think Abigail is a no-brainer, especially with, like you said, trying to rebuild their brand. I think
Yeah.
like you'll get someone who's authentic and someone who's very sweet. And honestly though, like she's so sweet, I could see her saying no. Like I could see her just being like, I don't think I could handle that. Like,
I
what
know. I wonder if they're going to announce it next week or whenever it's supposed to be or 2 weeks.
don't they normally announce it the live, but like people kind of find out like the week before, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, reality Steve,
Yeah, always
he
leaks it.
all.
But then Matt comes out and we've said, all the girls were kind of saying stuff. I thought like, I don't know, I kind of thought in the back of his head, like, so you go through this whole stage, you have all these women who are absolutely in love with you and telling
Right.
how good you are, how great you are. I kind of thought that like for a little bit he was thinking like Serena was kind of gonna like say something again, and she just kind of just stayed to what she thought.
Like you thought she was gonna see him and maybe be like, oh wait.
Yeah, like I don't know if I thought that necessarily. I kind of did, but I also thought that like I think Matt kind of thought that. Like I
Yeah.
think, and like she just kind of came out and was just like, no, like I needed to give you that, and I think it was just kind of like a shocking thing to hear again, I
Yeah.
guess.
Which
Because
is
like
interesting too, because like if you think by that point, if he's picked his, person,
yeah,
he wouldn't care. But maybe like his connection with who he picks like isn't that strong. I don't know. Well, obviously not. But
yeah. Well, that's why I think they're like I said earlier, like I think him and Serena. I don't know if it was just played weirdly, like put out there for us, but like I think him and Serena had or he had a very strong connection to Serena
yeah,
because I mean he was devastated when she told him all that, and then I mean I don't know, he grew the beard, which that was a wild
which like
move.
you don't change your hair that much unless you're going through it, and
Yeah,
you might be going through it.
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, he might be
But
going through it.
like maybe he just, I mean, who knows? Maybe he thought Serena would have been like his number one pick, which would
It would
throw
be
me completely off. But
it would be interesting to see like if Serena did play it through and then at the last one would have been like, nah. Like,
yeah,
would she have made it? Who knows? But like
yeah,
I definitely think she would have gotten picked over Brie.
I think so too.
So she would have
And
made it to the sweets.
I think if there wasn't this like with Bachelor, like they're always like, oh, at the end of this, somebody's getting proposed to. But I think
Yeah.
Serena probably would have stayed if there wasn't
Yeah.
a doctor involved.
No, I agree with that. Like you could like I think Michelle is ready to get engaged. I
Yeah,
think Rachel is not, but
I
is
agree.
like I think she's willing to slash like likes Matt that much.
Yeah,
Think Bree is kind of like in between. She kind of is, but she also likes Matt that much, so she's not going to say no, no chance.
right,
Where I think Serena, like you said, like I do think she would have stayed if it would have just been like, okay, you guys are dating and can see where this goes.
right.
Where no,
Because
you
that's what
gotta.
Colton and that girl whose name totally escapes me because I didn't really care for her that much. But like at the end of it, him and this girl, what? Why can I not remember her name? Oh well, I'm sure I will at some point. They broke
Did
up
she,
anyway. But like
did she win?
so like he picked. It was down to like Tasha and then this other girl, Hannah G, and then he was gonna pick between those two or something like that. I cannot remember this girl's name for the life of me. But she didn't want to get married. She wasn't ready, and her dad wasn't going to approve of it. So he was like, I can't pick Hannah or Tasha.
Cassie?
Cassie, that's what it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I had to look it up.
He was like, I have to have Cassie. So like she was like, okay, we can just date.
Yeah.
What happened? And maybe Matt would have done the same thing, like if he was allowed.
That's
Because
what
if he
yeah,
liked
no, like, it definitely, like, I think it makes you think slash is, like, a wild, like, leap of jump to take, so, like, I do think some girls are just like Kit, for example. There's no chance if she would've made it to the final round, she would've probably been like, "Yeah, like, we're not getting engaged," like,
no. And I think
so
like a lot of these girls too, it kind of becomes like they just want to win. They don't realize
yeah,
that they want to get married, that this is marriage.
for sure. I mean, it's like, people make fun of, like, the 90 Day Fiancé and stuff, like, this is literally what it is, like
Yes. Seriously, it's just like a different way of saying it.
yeah,
Like,
and also, like, I don't know how 90 Day Fiancé is, but I'm pretty sure it's not one guy dating 30 women, it's, like,
right.
6 guys, 6 girls, or I don't know how they do it, but
Like
so it's
trying
like
to figure it out.
even, like, a crazier concept, honestly, like,
Yeah. And
um
just like the fact that these women, like that's why I think a lot of them go into it like knowing they aren't going to win because
mhm.
the odds that that many women at that young age, because they're all like 21, 22, like
They were
super young.
young this season too.
Yeah, like, and if they really think they're ready to get married, I'm just like, I don't think so. Like, you want the followers, you want the publicity
Yep.
for 10 minutes.
Well, especially now with social media, how big it is, like, and how big The Bachelor is. You go on The Bachelor, make a name for yourself, you make it to like the final seven, like you could probably have a social media lifestyle the rest of your life. Like that's
You
what you
could.
can do.
Well, like even
So
Abigail, the first night I followed her after I saw her, she had like 20,000 followers or something. Literally by the next day, she had like
yeah,
250,000.
I don't know
And
who
it's
it
just like
was.
that fast.
It was someone who I thought was good looking on the show, and she had like it was like 8,000 followers. And then I looked back after like a week, and I think that week she had like a pretty big role on the show. She jumped to like 95K. It was insane. I was just like, oh my God. So it's like you said,
Yeah,
you don't have to win now. But yeah, I do think a lot of them go into it knowing that, and that's like a big thing, which I get. But
right.
like for someone like Abigail and Katie, I could have seen like maybe saying like being ready for engagement.
I
Like
think so too. Yeah, I think so too.
so I think it's half and half, but like that's why it's like, I don't know, that's why you gotta weed out people, I guess. So
Really, and that's why they have them though, like because they know they're younger and immature, and it creates
yeah.
more drama. It's like so sick and twisted.
Well,
But
yeah,
they're
because Matt sees them and like he probably has a chick who would 100% say yes to him, but he's like, oh, this chick's younger, hotter, more fun.
yeah,
I'm gonna pick her and send the other girl home. And then it's like, well, this girl doesn't even want
right.
to be here. Like, so
Like oh, I know you think about except for Michelle, how old was Rachel?
Rachel's 23 or 24.
Okay, so she's not as young.
No, she's not as young, but she's under 25. I know that. I think Bree's the
Yeah,
same way
because
too. It's
okay, because I was
I
like, is he just picking the young ones?
you always like so you see this with like a lot of things. Like you see someone on TV and you immediately think they're way older than what they are.
Yeah,
So like you see these girls on TV and you're like, there's no way Kit's 21. And you know what? If you probably hung out with her before this, you were like, yeah, she's 21 for sure. But you
yeah.
watch her on this, and it's just like with seeing people like I don't know why I always think waitresses and waiters are way older than what they are. I don't know if it's because they're like working and serving me or something. Like whenever I see people in an occupational like job, I always immediately think that they're way older. Like I don't
Honestly,
know
that's
what
so
it
true.
is.
I've never thought about that, but yes.
Maybe it's because like Hollywood always like like High School Musical, they had like 25-year-olds all playing these 17-year-olds. So like then
Yes.
immediately like you just think that like all these everyone's older. So,
Yeah.
so like um I just think that like it's tough because like it's I think it's tough to just to decipher the two, and like you have women who are kind of young who want to do it, and then you have older women who probably are there for the right reasons, then you have
Right.
younger women which like we've said like I totally get are there just to like if I like him I like him, but let's build my social right now.
Right.
'Cause-
And I bet you the Bachelor like producers and writers know this, so they like
oh
factor
yeah,
it in.
oh yeah,
And that's why they are always like, trust the process works. I want to make a comment that like maybe like 3 of the Bachelor couples have actually stayed together. So
Yeah, right.
like,
Yeah,
does the process really work? I don't
probably
think so.
not. And you know what? When they're probably like deciding the contestants, there's probably like a stack of 10 on the left-hand side. They're like, "Oh yeah, all these girls are 30 and they are perfect. They have great jobs. They want to get married right now. Probably would get married on the first night.
Yep.
Okay, we'll put those at the bottom. We got 15, 21-year-olds. They're all hot. They're all big
Yep.
on social media and they just like to have fun."
Yep. Emotionally unstable.
Like Piper, he completely emotionally unstable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Victoria. I don't even know how old she was. She looked old.
I'm pretty sure she was older.
Okay.
But so like that's one of them who they're just like, okay, she's old, so she can check that box off. She probably would get married. She's absolutely crazy, and they probably knew that from the start. So it's like, boom.
She must have had like a wild application video submission. Like whatever it was.
Oh, just think of how she talks like anytime. You know, hers was just like
Yeah. Her
wild.
eyes are freaking bugging out.
Yeah, like hers is wild. Any other thoughts from the show?
No, I mean, honestly, all in all, this wasn't the most entertaining one I've ever seen.
I
I
would
was
have to
expecting
agree.
more verbal fighting. I was kind of looking forward to it, but next week is fantasy suites, so people gonna be getting laid.
Yeah, that, and I feel like it's starting like it it seems like it's getting pretty intense, which I don't know. I don't know, like last week if I really thought it was gonna get that intense, but it looks like they all have like a very sad heart to heart at some point, or one of them's crying.
Yeah,
Matt's bawling his eyes out like multiple times. Could have all been the same night, and they just cut it up in different little instances. But
right.
he was bawling. His dad comes on the show, which I didn't know that was happening, and that seemed like a pretty tough conversation.
And he, oh my gosh, and doesn't he like not have a relationship with him either?
No, and like the one line from it was like his dad was like, "Not everyone's perfect," and Matt was like, I'm not looking for your excuses. I'm looking for you to say sorry," or something like that. So like it seemed like it was a pretty intense conversation.
They really must have just tried to make this season them like so dramatic and just to try and make everyone forget about like Pete's season and then like
Yep.
Claire and Tasha's. Like they're just like, all right,
Well, yeah, I feel like Claire, and speaking of that, because like Pete's season was like almost a year ago. Claire and Tasha's was like pretty recent, and like everyone was like, these were horrible.
oh yeah.
I mean,
It
Claire left midway through the fucking season.
I know. And I never
So
liked her. I could not stand her.
yeah, I mean, when she got announced last year, everyone was like, ah, great.
Yeah, they were like, why the fuck? They were like, we're gonna take the whole demographic out.
Right, right, exactly. So but yeah, next week's sweets, that'll be crazy episode, I think.
Oh
And
yeah.
what is it? It goes, do they all stay alive and then it goes to the final?
I I don't know how they're gonna do it because well, so what they do usually for the final is like they'll combine it. They first show you like who he picks or whatever. Like how he
Okay.
like, it'll be just like a TV show or
So like next week they would show who he picked.
yeah, not this coming week, but the week after. And then the next hour will be the live interviews with
So they
everybody.
build it, they show basically the whole episode until he picks someone, stop there, then the following week, show that clip, then
Well, usually I don't know because usually they do it all in one night.
okay,
Like as
yeah.
soon as you pick somebody, like then they will cut to the live interview. But
Right.
this is so interesting because I'm like, I mean, I think at this point we all kind of know who wins. I mean,
It's been pretty leaked, I would
yeah,
say. Yeah.
like
So
so I don't know how like they're gonna like are they just people just gonna like scrutinize her on TV? Like I don't know how she's even gonna be able to come out on the live.
yeah, and then yeah, I don't know. Cause like me and you talked about it, like she definitely has done wrong things, but like she
Yeah.
is getting absolutely dragged on the internet every time you look.
And I'm honestly I respect her because she keeps kind of being like, I deserve it, I deserve it. And I'm like, wow, I think I told you that. And I kind
Yeah, no, she's doing what like Chris Harrison probably should have done. Just shut up, listen, and just say I was in the wrong.
yeah,
So
you're right.
like kudos to her for that part. But they did announce a new host for the final rose. Emmanuel Acho. I might be butchering that name a little bit, but I'm pretty sure
Random.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he used to be an NFL player or he played college football or something, but he it was on the ESPN networks like as a college football analyst or something like that. I I thought it was pretty random. I thought they were like someone, I don't know if it was you, but I saw like it was something was about Michael Strahan and I was like, "Oh, that's a perfect person because he's been on
Yeah,
the Kelly and Michael show. Like he's been on stuff kind of similar to this
right.
and he's a pretty what like he's a very well-known person. I thought that I mean maybe he said no, but I thought that was maybe the simple choice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was just like busy that night because I'm kind of like, this is a very random choice, but
Yeah, I
all
like
right.
I don't know, like I just nothing against this guy, but I just thought he was like a sports analyst guy. He wasn't like a anything involved in this kind of thing, you know? Like it's just like kind of like out of
Yeah,
left field. Like you're not picking Chris Harrison to host college game day for football one weekend, you know?
right.
Like,
Because everyone's gonna be like, who the F is this? Like,
yeah, so but I mean, we'll see. I will say I was reading something which like Chris Harrison, rightfully so, is not gonna do it, but like he knows how to make awkward situations almost more awkward, but in a good way to like get the reaction, get the what he needs out of the women and ask
he
the right
does.
question. Like he's been doing this for a while and he knows how to do that perfectly.
He really does. And like he keeps a straight face. Like I don't remember what I saw, but like last night you can just tell that he's just like asking these super tough questions and he's keeping that smile.
Yeah. Like these chicks are crying, some are laughing, some are like though every emotion possible, and he has the same face. And I'm just like, oh wow, how do you do that?
I
Like,
know it makes you wonder, like, does he have a soul?
yeah, right? Exactly.
Like enough to write romance novels, because apparently he has a romance novel series.
Yeah, right. That was
He knew, but
maybe the biggest curveball of the whole season.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, like, does he like secretly just like kind of like seeing these chicks get their heart broken and he's like sick, you know?
Maybe.
Like
Honestly, at this point, anything, I would believe it.
yeah, exactly.
Host this show.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like all this time, like you see all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but the rest of the season will be interesting. Like we said last week, the live show will be super interesting just because like I mean, like you said, like we all kind of know who he picked, and then supposedly they're broken up. So like, I
Yeah.
mean, does he have a clear number two out of next week? Does he bring everyone back? Does Serena come to the live show? Like, there's so many different questions that are
Like, what if somebody came and like objected and was like, "Wait, choose me, Matt." I
who's
don't.
the one person that would do that?
What if it was Sarah?
Who?
Remember
Oh
Sarah
yeah,
who went home week 2?
yeah. Oh yeah.
What if
And
he was like, "Oh, okay,
I
sure."
totally forgot about her. She might have won if she would
I
have stayed.
know. I know.
Like to be completely honest.
And she's like could be the least problematic at this point, even though she banged G-Eazy, like with all these other girls that have been on it, like
I mean, as the season progressed, yeah, I would like she was crying and didn't know how to handle because her dad was dying. That is the least problematic out of anyone in this show.
yeah, and he seemed to like her enough to like beg her week 2.
And she's absolutely gorgeous, so like that's not a tough
Yeah,
choice. Yeah, but
it's
yeah,
in LA, so
I totally forgot she did um pop up for like one little scene they showed her when she interrupted the group date like way back
oh
when.
yeah,
I was like, oh wow, yeah, I totally forgot her. She might have won if she would have stayed. Like
I know.
she had a great chance. I was thinking Victoria would do that, but they probably like, "You're not allowed in this." Like,
I know. And I mean, hey, there's still a chance she could come. Chris Harrison said like 100 times last night, we have no idea what's coming. And I read something that was like, neither do you, February 4th, 2020.
that's funny. That's true though. But I do like I think the only like I think with the curveballs that have been just continuing to come, not on the show, after the show, like I do
Yeah,
think like we could see it like all happen and then Matt walks away and no one's picked, no one's happy, and it's just wild.
that would be so crazy. But yeah, you're right. I think we could.
Because like I don't think like, I think hers number 2 is Michelle,
Yeah.
and, like, I don't think if she knows that he picked Rachel, that she would take him back, like, after.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, she's ready to get married, but not that ready to get married to anyone.
She too much self-worth to she gives herself too much self-worth. Not gives herself too much, but she respects herself too much there. That's a better word.
Yeah.
I was gonna get
Sorry, I'm making
canceled.
my gym reservations. This is like the most random thing I'm doing.
No, you're good, you're
They
good.
drop at 7:41, so I'm like, all right.
I
Anyway, we
just
interrupt this
I
presentation.
just had to, rephrase what I said so I didn't get canceled because
It's okay.
I didn't want a
We're
female.
PC on Really Witty. We're really, really PC.
But, anything you expect? Any last words on the tell-all?
No. I mean, could have been better, but still was good. Juicy enough for me.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think there was a lot of problematic stuff that happened this year, and they've gotten a lot of backlash that they were just like, "You know what? We're not gonna."
Yeah.
I think if, like, the whole bowling thing, like, didn't really happen and, like, well, even if it happened and, like, the internet didn't just, like, try to drag them the whole time, like, I think they would've just let the boxing gloves off and it go.
Yeah. And then we would have been like, this was the best date all season.
Exactly. Like, I think we would've gotten a lot of juice, more people would have been, like, willing to say stuff, but, like, you did see some of the girls. Last thing I'm gonna say is, like, you did see some of the girls, like, kinda be like, "I have been being dragged on, like, the internet, and it sucks." Like, I didn't, like, think that was gonna happen. So, like, they probably were a lot more, like, hesitant to say anything on this. Like, they were, like, kinda
Because
taken
they
aback. Yeah, they knew, like, if I continue to go, I'm gonna get absolutely dragged again, and I don't want that to happen.
And maybe that's a warning for future contestants, but like probably not, since they're probably not even watching this season right now.
Probably not, but, like,
The contestants.
before you are able to go on, they should honestly this should be like a tutorial on, like, "Hey, this stuff
Yeah,
lasts with you. You can get dragged on the internet. You are seen by millions of people. Like, let's be at least kind of classy people."
right. And like delete all your controversial social media
Yeah.
shit.
That's what I was
Like,
thinking of. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was thinking of earlier. Is like, if every contestant, first off, shouldn't have it in the first place, not saying it's okay, but if every
right.
contestant does not come on, like, before the show and delete any little thing that could be, you are an idiot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like you shouldn't have it, like you said to begin with, but like clean it up.
Yeah, like, you're probably not famous before you go on it, so
Right.
you have
Like people are
time.
gonna find it.
Yeah, yes, if there's one thing the internet trolls or people who, like, try to cancel anything they do, they will find any of this stuff. So,
Yeah.
delete, delete, delete.
Yeah. If you can take anything away from this episode, that's it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, but, alright, we'll be back next week. They had the sweets. Hopefully, it looks like a very interesting episode. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll be back to get spicy with you next week.
Yeah, alright.
That was
See
good. I
everyone next week.
know.